Hey guys, Laura from Parliament Street Fitness here. I've got a 45-minute yoga practice for you today, focusing on a few twists and opening up across the chest to help us improve our posture. If you have sensitive knees, I would recommend grabbing something soft to rest your knees on whenever we do a kneeling pose, like a cushion or a towel. See you on the mat. Lie down comfortably on the mat on your backs. Find any shape here. So if it feels better to bend the knees, you can bend the knees. Take the legs out if that feels good. And close your eyes. Put aside mentally anything that you had going on before you came to the mat, whatever was happening in your day, your night. Try to put a pause in any future thinking as well, any planning for what's going to happen after you finish this practice. Coming more into yourself, into your body, noticing which parts of your body are connecting with the surface beneath you. And trying to relax them. Find a gentle rhythm of your breath in and out your nose. Letting go of tension in your face, cheeks, forehead, jaw. And let's deepen that mind-body breath connection. Bring both hands over your belly. Just cupping around your belly button, fingertips pointing down towards the hip points. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the belly rise up, your ribs expand, fill up into your chest and your throat, and then open the mouth and sigh it out. 2 more like that. Inhale through the nose. Expand. Open the mouth, let it out, and soften. Last time we'll hold at the top. Deep inhale through the nose. And pause at the top of that breath, retaining it in without tensing it up or tensing up your body. Like a big stretch for your lungs. Hold. And open the mouth, let it out. Return to the rhythmic breath in and out your nose. Hopefully a little bit more present now in your breath, in the sensations of the body, in the mind. Stretch the arms long overhead. You can keep the eyes closed. Bring the legs together, point through your toes. Get as long as you can. Reach with the fingertips. Inhale. And you can let out another big sigh here. Exhale. And hold on to opposite elbows overhead, bending at your elbows. And just lift the head and shoulders slightly off the mat and swing them over towards the top right corner. But keep your butt exactly where it was. Your hips are heavy. Walk your feet towards the bottom right corner of the mat and cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Creating this arch in the left side. Breathing deeply into your left ribs, and the right side is getting a bit shorter from right armpit to right hip. Notice what the low back is doing here. So try to tuck the tailbone under a little bit more, flatten your back into the mat so we stay with a side bend and not a back bend. Take another deep breath here. Good. Uncross your ankles. Walk your feet back through center. Bring your head and shoulders back through center. Switch the gripping of your elbows. So whichever one was on top, swap it out so it's the opposite now. Lift head and shoulders slightly off the mat and swing them over to the left. And then slowly walk your feet over to the bottom left corner of the mat. So we'll hook the left ankle on top of the right. Super casual side bend. Notice now how much breath you can take in the right side. how long you can get from your right pinky toe to the right elbow. And again, just a little bit of awareness around the low back. Pull your belly button down and in, flatten the low back into the mat as much as you can. Final breath here. Good, let's uncross ankles, swing head and shoulders back through center, walk your feet back through center, then bring the knees into your chest and hold on to knees or shin bones with your hands. Rock from side to side, massaging the sacrum, the low back into the mat. You can even draw circles here, guiding the knees into the chest, right, forward, left, and back. And switch it up, opposite direction with your circles. And let's take the knees out over the hips to stack. Take the hands just behind your ears with the elbows winging out wide. Shin bones are parallel to the mat, feet and knees together for a moment here. Check in with that back again. It's easy once we take the legs away from our body to arch up off the mat. Press the back into the mat, draw the belly in, and curl up, head and shoulders off the mat. Good, engaging our center of our body, our belly, the abdominals. Let's twist over towards the left knee with the right elbow and tap the right toes down to the mat. And come back through center. Breathe in and twist over to the right side with the left elbow. Tap the left toes to the mat. Exhale. Inhale back through center. Head and shoulders are lifted. Exhale. Right elbow to left knee. Tap the right toes down. Inhale, knees stack over hips. Exhale, twist. And I think we've got the hang of it now. So let's continue here, working at your own pace. Finding a rhythm with your breath that matches the movement. And we'll go for about 20 more seconds. Now, if you'd like to take this up a notch, next time you twist over to the left, extend the right leg to hover just above the mat. Then come back through center, both knees bend, and switch. Opposite elbow to opposite knee, and straightening and hovering the free leg if you can. Last 10 seconds here. It's really slow, mindful bicycles. 3, 2, we hold on the left side on 1. Twisting the right elbow towards the left knee. Remember, you can have the right toes tucking or tapping down to the mat if that's more supportive on your back, but try to lift your head and shoulders more to the left. Breathe. Can you pull the left knee into your chest a little bit more? Ooh, reset, come back through center, both knees over your hips. Inhale. Exhale, twist over to the right and hold. Left elbow reaches towards right knee. Right knee can pull in now. Maybe you're floating the left leg or the knee is bent and the toes are tapping down to the mat. Nice, last breath. Come back through center, relax head and shoulders down. Give yourself a little squeeze, knees to chest. We'll open our arms here to cactus on our back so that the elbows are bent, the palms are facing towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, take your knees over to your left, keeping the opposite shoulder down. So right shoulder presses down to the mat. Right hip, right knee is on top. Breathe. Good. And slowly, hopefully you didn't get stuck on your couch, come back through center and take the knees both over to the right. Keep opposite shoulder, left shoulder anchored down for a moment. Left hip is on top this time. And reach the right arm straight alongside the right ear. We'll roll over to the right side. Resting your head inside the right arm. The palm can come out in front of your chest. Left hand. Slowly press into your left hand and make your way up to seated. Find a comfortable seat here. You might be crossing at the shin bones. You might sit up on your cushion or folded up blanket or towel. Find a long spine. Leaning the shoulders back to stack over your hips. Reach the arms up above you and interlace the fingers above your head. Flip the palms to face up towards the ceiling. We'll take a cat-cow-like movement here. So press the hands up. Find a little bit of an arch in your back as you inhale. And as you exhale, press the palms out in front of you, round through the upper back, draw the belly in, chin to chest. Inhale, lift the arms up. Maybe you arch the back a little bit. Exhale, press the palms out in front of you. Tuck your tailbone under. 2 more breaths like this. Inhale. Biceps along ears. Exhale, push forward. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, around the shoulders, push. Reach the arms up again as you inhale. Release the fingertips. Exhale, bend the elbows and cactus them in line with your shoulders again. Lift your heart up a little bit higher. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Relax the shoulders. Come forward onto hands and knees, tabletop. So take the knees back underneath the hips. Separate the knees hips distance apart. Shoulders are stacking over your wrists, spreading the fingers wide, not overdoing it, but just a good amount of space between each and every finger. Now, yogi's choice, you can tuck your left toes under. This will help with the balance a little bit. You might also be placing something soft underneath that left knee. We're going to lift the right knee back behind us, pointing through the toes. Point the right knee out to the right side, and then bring it back to hover next to the left leg. Right knee goes back to the right side and to hover. Then smooth out that movement, creating hip circles. Really slow, especially if the hip is a little creaky. Take your time. Notice if most of your weight is now leaning to your left side. Try to point your belly straight down to the mat to even weight in both of your hands. Switch the direction of your circles. Feeling that right glute fire a little bit. Next time your right knee's pointing out to the right side, pause here, keeping it lifted. Flex your right foot and kick that right leg out straight, and then set the foot down just off of the mat. Now try to keep pressing through the pinky toe edge of the right foot. We'll take right hand directly underneath the chest. Lift the left arm up to a twist. Inhale. Exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right with the palm facing up and come down to the back of the left shoulder. You can place your head down on the mat, or you can place your head to your cushion. Press again through the pinky toe edge of the right foot if the foot started to lift. Lift your right arm up. Turn the palm so it faces behind you. Bend your right elbow and drop the fingertips behind the back towards the left side of your low back, maybe even that left hip. Lean back into the left shoulder. Can you point your right elbow to the ceiling? Keep that foot firm on the floor. Breathe. One more. Good. Take the right arm straight up and then release the palm next to your face. Press into your right hand to unwind the left arm, taking the left arm up. Breathe in and return the left hand to the mat. Pause. Let's make sure the left knee is in line with the back of the left wrist. We'll swing the right leg back behind us. As we do so, take the left toes off the long side of the mat. Hover your right leg, take the right arm up. Good. So right leg is lifted, the big toe is facing the side of the mat. You're stacking across the shoulders. You can tuck your left toes under. This will help with the balance a little bit here. Now you can either stay right here, engaging through the entire right side. If you want to take it to more of a back bend and there's no shoulder or back issues, bend your right knee, squeezing the heel back behind you. Reach back with the lifted hand. See if you can catch the top of the right foot, the pinky edge. Then kick the foot into the hand. Lift your knee a little higher. Lift your heart higher. Pull the belly in here. Maybe look up. Check out your ceiling. Good. No slingshots if you have the foot. Gently release. Good. And we'll all square it off back down to the mat. Right hand, right knee touches down. Good. Let's make sure we have knees hips distance apart again. You can tuck your right toes under if that feels all right with the knee and it helps with the balance. We'll take the left knee back behind us, pointing the left toes. Left knee is bent. Point left knee up to the left side and bring it back to hover next to the right. And go ahead and explore the hip circles on the second side. Taking your time to move through any areas that maybe feel a little bit stuck in the hip. Keeping your chest squaring off between your thumbs, your belly to the mat. And go about 3 circles opposite direction. Ooh. Nice. Good, and next time that your left knee is pointing out to the left side, we'll pause here. Straighten out the left leg, kicking through the pinky toe edge of the foot, flexing the foot, and set the foot down off of your mat. Again, make sure you're pressing through the pinky toe edge of the left foot so the foot is grounded. Left palm comes directly underneath your chest. Reach your right arm up. Breathing in. And exhale to thread the right arm underneath the left arm. Come to the back of the right shoulder. Let your head touch down, looking towards the right hand. You can also place that head on a pillow. Good. Breathing here. Send your left arm up. Turn the palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow and drop the left fingertips behind your back. You're going towards the right side of the low back, or even that right inner thigh or hip. Then lean back, pressing into the right shoulder. Spin your chest up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing the left foot into the floor. Take the left arm back up and release the palm next to your face. Let's unwind, pressing through the left hand. Right arm opens up with an inhale. Exhale, take your right hand back down to the mat. Pause. Right knee is in line with the back of the right wrist. Let's swing the left leg back behind us. As we do so, the right toes come off the right side of the mat. The left arm lifts. So now there's only 2 points of contact with the mat. Right knee, right wrist. Stack across your shoulders. Lift that left leg a little bit higher. Flex the foot. You're welcome to stay here if this is already quite challenging. Maybe right toes are tucking under and gripping the floor, or finding that back bend, chest opener. Bend the lifted leg. The lifted hand reaches back to catch the pinky toe edge of your left foot. Kick the foot into the hand. Lift the knee a bit higher. See if you can curve your heart up towards the ceiling as you breathe. Good. Look down at the mat and gently release left knee, left hand back to the mat. Walk your knees back just a few inches, widening your tabletop, but keep your shoulders over your wrists. So now your pelvis is dropping a little bit lower. Tuck your tailbone under, so a forward tilt of the pelvis. And then shift onto fingertips, pull your chest forward, bend your elbows and lower down through chaturanga on the knees. Straighten the arms, come back up. Inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower to your chaturanga tricep push-up. Straighten the arms, come back up. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down all the way to your bellies. Take the fingertips as wide as your chest, or in line with your chest and off the sides of the mat, so a bit wider than your mat. Elbows point towards the ceiling. Press through the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel the chest up. Press into your fingertips to lift. Exhale, turn the left shoulder down. Look to your left. Or to your right, sorry. Come back through center. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, turn the right shoulder down and look to the left. Back through center. Inhale, lift up high cobra on fingertips. And roll yourself back down to the mat as you exhale. Glide the palms back next to your side ribs, tucking the elbows in. Press back up through that chaturanga to straight arms. Child's pose. Rock the hips back towards your heels. Drop the forehead to the mat. Rounding through the low back. Stretching out the muscles around the low back. Breathing deeply. And lift the forehead off of the mat. Lift the forearms. Tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog. Float the knees off the mat and lift the tailbone up high. And you might start off with fairly bent knees. Any movements here that help you to lengthen the legs a little bit more. Slow jogs. Sinking one heel down than the other. You might be swaying the hips a little bit from side to side. Try to relax the head between your arms. Nice. And then coming right into the balls of the feet, press forward to high plank so that the shoulders are right over the wrists. And if you notice the shoulders going beyond the wrists or the fingertips when you're on your tiptoes, walk the hands forward a little bit. Good. Then soften the knees, downward facing dog. Lift the tailbone up and back. Let's go 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, push forward, shoulders over wrists, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift from the midsection. One more time. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees deeply and walk your fingertips back to your toes at the back of the mat. Once the heels touch down, with that connection of belly to thighs, knees are soft, hold on to opposite elbows, forward fold. Drop the back of the neck. Sway a little bit from side to side. And feel your side body getting longer with the heaviness of the head pulling you down to the mat. Maybe you're pouring a bit more weight into the balls of the feet to get that nice hamstring stretch. Release your fingertips down to the mat. Halfway lift. Hands come up to shins, shoulders pull back. Reach the heart towards the top of the mat. Inhale. And then drop back over your legs. Relax the head as you exhale. Press through your feet. Come all the way to standing, circling the arms above you. Inhale. Exhale, palms come together. And come back in front of heart center. Reach the arms wide with a big circle. Inhale. Take the arms wide as you float down to the mat, exhaling to pour the belly over the thighs. Halfway lift again. Inhale, hands come to shins, shoulders back. Exhale, drop over the legs, relax the head. Walk your hands forward one at a time, high plank. Take your time. Try not to let the hips wobble too much from side to side as you walk the hands out. Now you can stay here with the knees lifted. We're about to come through a flow. Our chaturanga is up next. You can also drop the knees down to that modified chaturanga like we practiced. We stay in our plank or modified plank for the inhale. Exhale, shoot the chest forward, then bend your elbows lower down, chaturanga. Come to the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Exhale, lift from the belly, either tucking toes or flipping over the tops of the feet. Let's take an audible breath here. In the nose and out the mouth. From down dog, lift your right leg high, straight up and back, three-legged dog. Then bend your right knee and open up the hips so right knee points towards the ceiling. Similar action to what we were doing in our tabletop. Square your chest off to the mat. Even weight in both hands. Left hip pulls back. Keep your right knee bent. Stay for the inhale. Right knee to chest, exhale, roll forward like you're coming to a plank, but it's a one-legged plank. Push the mat away, right knee scoops up and into your chest, and step the right foot between your hands. You might need to use your right hand to bring it forward a little bit more. Knee over ankle, lower your back knee down to the mat or to something soft to cushion it. You can either keep back toes tucked for the balance, or you can challenge the balance and press through the top of the back foot. Rise your arms up, low lunge. Good. So let's start from the place here of lifting from the hips away from the mat, lifting from the side body up through the shoulders and the arms and the fingertips. So get as tall as you can, pressing through the front foot. Inhale here. And then like you're letting all of that go, exhale, melt the hips forward, bend your elbows. Press again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, relax inner thighs, bend the elbows, melt the hips down and forward. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the elbows, melt forward, hold here. Can you lift your heart to the ceiling? Maybe you're dropping your head back. Inhale. Release the fingertips down on either side of the front foot as you exhale. Tuck your back toes. We'll straighten the back leg and lift the back knee off the mat. If you like, you can hop that back foot in a little closer to the front foot, especially if that front hamstring is tight. And then slowly begin to straighten the front leg, lifting your hips up and back like you're moving towards down dog, but with that right leg in front of you. Coming right up onto fingertips, pyramid pose. So big stretch for that right calf. If you want to find even deeper calf stretch, you can lift the front foot away from the mat, just balancing on that right heel, toes point towards the ceiling. Try to hug the right hip in a little bit more. Maybe you're grounding the back heel down a bit more. Breathe. Bend the front knee again. Spin the back heel flat, lining up heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Leading with your left hand, lift up and away from the mat, warrior two. Right arm reaches forward, left hand reaches back. Deepen that bend in the front knee. Right hip again scoops underneath you. Flip the right palm, the front palm to face up. Reverse your warrior. Reach the right arm up and back like the left hand reach down the back leg and hold. Let's create even more space on the right side. Straighten the front leg. Getting as long as you can from right big toe out, right fingertips. Stay here for the breath in. Keep all this length, triangle pose. As you exhale, push the hips towards the back of the mat. Hinge the torso out over the front leg. Right arm will reach forward, left arm will reach back. So we're working a really active triangle pose today. Like someone's shaking your hand in front of you and behind you. Both sides of the body are long. Can you press that front shin bone forward a bit more to take the lock out of the knee? Breathe. Bring your left hand to the left hip. Bend the front knee. Reach the fingertips of the right hand about 10 inches in front of that front foot. And hop the back foot in a little bit if you need to. Half moon pose. Slowly, we float the back leg away from the mat. Make sure right toes stay facing straight forward. And just like we did that pose at the beginning on our one knee, can you spin the chest open a bit more? Flex the lifted leg. And if you're feeling pretty good here, maybe that left arm goes up as well so that you open straight across the shoulders. Breathe. It's okay if you're using something around you, a couch, a chair, to help you with your balance. Last breath. Good, and then slowly square off your chest down to the mat, your hips to the mat. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Left foot, left hand land down. Halfway lift, bring hands up to your shins. Inhale, flat back. And melt over the legs, exhale. Come all the way up to standing. Press your feet, reaching arms above you. Inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. Bring your big toes to touch and leave a few fingers distance between the heels. Bend your knees, dip the butt back behind you, chair pose. Lift the chest. Good. Pour the weight into your heels. We'll inhale here, elbows are wide. And exhale to twist to your right. Dropping the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Then use that elbow to knee connection to revolve your chest a little bit closer towards the thumbs. Left knee might be poking forward and you can look down to check that out. Simply swing the left hip back so the knees are even here. You might look over the right shoulder. See if you can sink the butt down a little bit lower. Keep reaching out through the crown of the head. Feel maybe a slight burn in the legs, but this really nice twist from the upper back and the belly. Last breath in. And let it go into a forward fold. Exhale. Shake up the head. Halfway lift, hands come to your shins. Soften the knees a bit. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms and step back to your high plank or modified plank. Lower through your chaturanga. On your inhale, up dog or cobra. Lift through the chest. We meet back in downward facing dog. Exhale. Take an audible breath here. In through the nose. And let it out your mouth. Let's lift our left leg high from our downward facing dog this time. Inhaling. Then bend your left knee and open up the hip as you exhale. So left foot just relaxes behind you. Lift the right shoulder a little bit more and drop the left shoulder more. So the shoulders are square. Right hip hugs back, even if that right heel's off the floor. Let's stay here for the inhale. On the exhale, right knee comes into your chest, push, or left knee to your chest, sorry. Push through the ball of the right foot and shift forward, shoulders over wrists. And see how much control you can have when you step the left foot between your hands. You might use the left hand to move it forward a little bit. Lower the back knee down to the mat. Good. If that knee needs something soft to land on, go ahead and grab your cushion or your towel. You can keep back toes tucked or untuck and press through the top of the back foot. So there's a little bit more work here for the legs. Press through the front foot, rise the arms up, low lunge. Good. And remember, we try to get as lifted as we can to start with here. So inner thigh squeeze in, belly lifts in, side body long, length through the arms and fingertips. Inhale deeply. Exhale, relax the hips down and forward, bend your elbows. Inhale, press the front foot, reach the arms, lift. Exhale, melt the hips forward, bend your elbows. Last one, guys. Inhale, feel that work in the inner thighs as you lift back up. Exhale, melt the hips down and forward, bend the elbows, hold here. Lift your chest to the ceiling. Inhale, maybe drop the head back. Exhale, let the fingertips come down on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes under if they aren't already. Straighten the back leg, lifting the back knee off the mat. So you can also hop that back foot in a little if you need. And very slowly, we make our way to pyramid pose, lifting the butt up and back and straightening the front leg as much as you're comfortable, even if it's just a little bit straighter than it was before. Breathe. If you'd like to dive deep into that left calf, you can lift the front toes away from the mat, the ball of the foot off the mat, so you're just balancing on that heel. Ooh. See if you can sink the back heel down a little bit more. Reach out through the chest. Lengthen spine. One more deep breath. Rebend the front knee. Spin the back heel flat so the back toes face the long side of the mat. Use your right arm to lift you up into your warrior two. Right arm will reach back, left arm reaches forward, deeply bending the front knee. Left hip hugs underneath you. Good. Keep that length in the side body that we just had in our lunges. Flip the front palm to face the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Reach the left fingertips up and overhead. Right hand can slide down the back leg. Inhale. And straighten the front leg as you exhale. Good. Opening to the left side. We stay for the inhale. And then on the exhale, triangle pose. Push the hips to the back of the mat. Reach your left hand forward. The right arm back behind you. Good. Now watch that front knee. Keep pressing the shin bone forward. Mini bend the front knee or micro bend. Keep your chest open to the side of the mat. Good, and here we go. Let's take all this length and strength in our side body into our balancing pose, our half moon. Right hand to right hip. Bend the front knee again. Land the left fingertips out in front of that front foot. If you need to, you hop the back foot in a little bit. Once you're touching down, float the back leg off of the mat, even if it takes you a couple tries, and straighten your standing leg. Flex the lifted foot. Squeeze the leg. Your chest is opening to the long side of the mat. And if that's going well, and the foot that's on the mat, the big toe is facing straight forward, then maybe reach that right arm up. Breathe. You got this. One more. Good. Square your chest off to the mat. Bend your right knee and set the right foot down next to the left. The right hand down. Whew. Halfway lift. Inhale, hands to shins. Fold over the legs. Exhale. Press through your strong legs. Rise all the way up, reaching the arms above you. Inhale. Bring hands together in front of your chest. Exhale. One more time, we come to our revolved chair pose. Big toes touch, leave a little space between your heels. Keep the chest lifted up towards your thumbs. Bend your knees, sinking the butt back like you're sitting into a chair. Keep the elbows pointing out wide. The weight is in the heels. Deep breath in. On the exhale, twist to your left. Can you bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee? Good. And then can you use that pressing of elbow to knee to spin your chest over to the left a little bit more so the thumbs are right in the center of your chest. Maybe you're looking just over the left shoulder. You can always check in with the knees by looking down if that right knee is poking slightly forward. Right hip squeezes back. And breathe. Feeling a little bit of a thigh burn starting to build. Maybe you just lean into it and sink the hips a touch slower for our final breath. And we release, forward fold. Whew. Straighten the legs, drop the back of the neck. Halfway lifting, inhale, hands to shins. Drop over the legs, fold, exhale, plant your palms, step back. Maybe this time you're taking a little hop back to your plank, then bending the elbows coming through your chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, inhale, squeeze the shoulders back. Downward facing dog, exhale. Lift the butt high, take a deep breath in here. And at the mouth. Let's press through the balls of the feet. Come forward to plank one more time, shoulders over wrists. And we'll take a slow lower down all the way to belly. So you can always bring the knees down as you bend your elbows. And slowly come down to the mat. Untuck your toes. And let's take the right arm out to the right side, palm to the floor, straight line from shoulder to elbow to palm. Then we look to the left, and I'll do this maybe facing you guys. Look to the left. Tense your left fingertips so the left elbow points up towards the ceiling. Let your head touch down, looking towards the left hand. Now, if that's uncomfortable in the neck, you can go ahead and put a pillow underneath your head. Then bend your left knee so the toes are pointing towards the ceiling. You're still palming the floor with the right hand. And push to roll over the right hip, dropping the left toes behind you. If they don't quite touch down, that's okay. You can straighten the leg out to the left leg and just reach it back a little bit more. So opening up front of the left hip, big stretch here for the right pec, the chest, inner shoulder. Such a good pose for countering the kind of couch slouch that you might be experiencing in recent days. Or maybe it's looking at your phone too often and you're always kind of leaning forward, rounding through the upper back. Good, let's stay here. One more breath. And roll on back to your bellies. Good, we reset. So this time, left arm straight out to the left side, palm the floor. Anchor the inner shoulder down, then look to your right. Tense your right fingertips, elbows pointing towards the ceiling. Can you bring the left ear down to the mat or to a cushion or towel? Bend your right knee, pointing toes up towards the ceiling. Leading by pushing through the right hand, roll yourself over the left hip to drop the right toes behind you. Good, and breathe into it. A little bit of an opening for the front of the hip, but more focused on left inner shoulder, the muscles in the chest. Try to notice where the right shoulder is in comparison to the right ear. If it's kind of scrunching up, pull it back. Good, big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Let that go, roll back onto bellies. And then flip over all the way onto your backs. Doesn't have to be fancy or graceful. Just reposition yourself in the center of the mat once you've rolled over. And let's just get into the hips a little bit. Bend the knees, walk the feet in. And pick up the right foot, cross your right ankle over the left thigh and press your right knee forward. Figure 4 stretch for that outer right hip. And you can stay right here resting hands to bellies, especially if you know you have really tight hips and you're already feeling a big stretch in the muscles around the right hip and the glute med. If you do want a deeper stretch and there's no knee issues with the right knee, left foot can lift off the floor. Right arm goes through the whole of your legs, left arm goes around, and interlace the fingers behind the left leg. Bringing that right shin bone in as close to your chest as you're comfortable without lifting the tailbone off the mat. Good. We've got about 5 breaths here. You might close your eyes and just notice how the right hip is feeling. And see if there's any areas of your body right now that can soften a little bit more into this pose. It might be shoulders. Maybe your face can relax a little bit more. If you lifted the left foot off of the floor, bring it back down. Right foot steps off next to the left. Let the arms open by your sides for a moment. Walk the feet a little bit wider with knees pointing towards the ceiling. And just windshield wiper the knees from side to side, right and left. Very mild spinal twist. Point the knees back to the ceiling again. Walk your feet back to hips distance. Now let's go for that external hip stretch on the second side. Pick up your left foot and cross your left ankle on top of the right thigh. Flexing left foot. Press the knee forward. And pause. And assess what you need in this moment. Not necessarily what you want. If you want to do the exact same as what you did on the first side, just see if that's what the left hip needs. If it is okay to go into a deeper stretch, right foot lifts off the mat, left arm goes through the whole of the legs, right arm wraps behind the right leg to meet the left fingertips. And create a little bit of a lock there with your fingertips around the back of the right thigh. Keep tailbone pressing to the mat as you bring that left shin bone in as close to your chest as feels good. Bring the shoulders out of the ears and press the backs of the shoulders down to the mat. And find steady and engaged breath as you're here for 2 more breath cycles. Right foot returns to the mat if you lifted it off. Left foot to the mat. One more time, windshield wipers. Walk the feet a little bit wider. You can take the arms out by your sides, palms facing up. Drop knees right and left. It's a nice massage for the glutes as well. Let's find a comfortable shape for our resting pose. So making sure that the low back feels really supported. You might keep the feet this wide and bring the knees in to touch each other so that the legs are being held up by one another. And keep the arms wide. If there's another shape that feels more comfortable to you, taking the legs wide, taking up space, or even bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together. Whatever is gonna bring you comfort and feel really easy for the next couple minutes. So you don't want to pose where you're tense or working to stay in it. Go ahead and close your eyes. Once you've adjusted yourself, the body feels comfortable. Give yourself a slow head to toe scan. Noticing if there's any areas that you are still maybe holding a bit of tension. Check in with the mouth, the forehead, the shoulders, the wrists and the fingertips, the hips, the legs, the toes. So let there be a sense of ease in your breath. A sense of letting go in your body. In the last couple minutes of this practice, we will come into stillness. Not just in the body, but trying to find stillness and peace in the mind. If you have very active thoughts at the moment, the mind's getting really busy, you might find it helpful to stay engaging with your breath, just noticing it to keep you present. Take rest. Inhale deeply through your nose. When you reach the top, stick out your tongue, open the mouth wide on your exhale. And one more time like that. Inhale through the nose. Stick out your tongue, exhale. If the knees were bent, you can stretch the legs out. And find a tiny bit of energy in your fingertips and your toes, wiggling them, moving them around. Nod your head right and left. And again. And stretch the arms alongside your ears. Bring the legs closer together. One more full body stretch here. Point your toes, reach fingertips. Inhale. And sigh it out, exhale. Keep the arms where they are. Bend your knees to bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And carefully roll off to your right side. Bringing the left palm in front of your chest. Rest your head inside the right arm. And this time, as you make your way up to seated, see if you can keep your eyes closed. Just moving intuitively, notice the shifting of the weight. Notice the edges of your mat so you can kind of center yourself and get your bearings. And sitting up as tall as you can, stacking shoulders over hips, finding that length through the side body and out of the low back. Bring the palms together in front of your heart space and bow the chin to your chest. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for spending the time to connect to your body, your mind, and your breath, and find the harmony between the three. And thank yourself for doing something good for you. Let's finish off with one final cleansing sigh. As you're ready, inhale through your nose and let it out the mouth. Slowly blink your eyes open.